Hello and welcome to week 2 of the birds. So this week I think what I'd like you to do is just very much kind of continue with painting more birds in that same kind of style. So today what I thought I would do is have a go at kind of painting this parrot, which is just a kind of close-up of his head, but I'm going to do it in the same way, very kind of splashy and loose. The colours that I'm going to use are the permanent rose, because I've got this really sort of lovely kind of orange here, and I think the permanent rose mixed together with my Windsor yellow is going to give me some really beautiful vibrant orange colours. I've also got my cobalt turquoise, and that mixed together with the Windsor yellow is going to give me some really lovely sort of rich sort of greens for here. In terms of the beak, I will be using maybe a little bit of burnt umber to get that kind of darker kind of colour in here. So these are going to be my kind of 4 colours to begin with, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so let's get started. And so once again, I'm going to kind of start with the eye area and kind of work my way out from there. So I'm going to give that a nice little kind of pale sort of yellowy wash in here, because I can see a little bit of very sort of pale yellow there. And then it kind of goes to a little bit of a blue on the inside. So I'm just going to drop that in. Sorry, I'm just going to grab a tissue. So you can see I'm just kind of creating a really sort of lovely pale wash to begin with, and that is my eye done for now. And we'll continue on outwards. So some of this kind of lighter area, this kind of white area kind of around here is not really 100% white. I can kind of see quite a lot of colour in here. So again, we're going to just sort of try and treat that in a very sort of loose way. So I'm going to put some blues kind of coming in under here, and then as it goes up, I'm going to bring some kind of pinks in here, and just kind of being careful around the eye really. So at this stage it's very pale. I'm sure you can just about kind of make up that colour. And once again, what I would encourage you to do is to use some really sort of lovely kind of gestural marks. So I'm starting off with that lovely kind of yellow. Which I'm using, I'm just kind of almost kind of, dabbing the kind of colour down, just so that I can create some kind of very sort of random looking marks. And then along the edge, I've got a brush which has got a really lovely fine point. I'm just going to sort of try and flick that so that it creates some really lovely, interesting sort of edges, making him look very sort of feathery. So I'm going to bring that down here, and then I'm going to start bringing in my orange. So I'm kind of creating some very sort of random marks, and perhaps even leaving some kind of white of the paper as well. So I'm just going to drop in that lovely permanent rose kind of around here where it suddenly goes a little bit darker. You know, and I'm just really allowing that to kind of mix and blend in sort of quite naturally. So again, I'm going to bring in some yellow in here. So again, leaving some of those kind of lovely white areas. And here where it's kind of really sort of spiky, I can kind of see that I'm just kind of flicking it up a little bit. So it goes a little bit kind of green in here, so I'm just, again, dropping that kind of colour in. And just allowing that to kind of mix quite sort of naturally. Okay, and then so back up here we've got our lovely yellow. So I'm kind of being a little bit more careful here because I don't really want those two colours to mix. So I'm going to just leave a little gap. Then once it's dried, once the blue's dried, I'll come and put the yellow in. Okay, so coming down here again, can you, I just want to kind of, you know, you see I'm really kind of allowing that brush to kind of like really kind of scrub down and just make some interesting, very kind of random marks. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry off completely and just kind of maybe just leave it for about an hour or so and just let those colours merge quite naturally and see what happens. And then once it's dried, I will come back and this time do the beak. Actually, before I stop, sorry, I've just realised I should have kind of put that darker area in here whilst it's still wet, so I'm just very, very quickly see if I can drop that in very quickly. Yeah. So we'll just allow that to very, very gently mix wherever it's going to go, and we'll leave it there for now. Okay, so I've left this to dry quite naturally for about sort of 45 minutes or so. And you can see it's a lot lighter than it was when I was putting that colour initially down. But you know, some lovely kind of things have happened whilst it's been drying, which I really, really like. So the next thing to do would be to kind of do the beak really, and I wanted to do that kind of separately, and so that it doesn't run into these lovely sort of bright colours. So you can see that the beak here, I've got this lovely sort of dark colour, and then I've also got this beautiful kind of lighter area as well. So that's what we're going to work with. So I'm going to mix up my burnt umber with the turquoise blue. So I want to sort of try and keep this palette of colours as much as possible. So I'm kind of thinking that I'll have to do this really in 2 layers. So we'll get that darker kind of colour in first. And I'm just dropping a little bit of kind of blue in there as well. Maybe a little bit of the permanent rose as well. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm just going to allow that to sort of very gently kind of mix in, and then I'll have to come back in and do another kind of layer of colour in here. But at the moment I'm just going to leave that as it is, and then we'll work on some of the other areas just to now create some kind of depth within the kind of feathers and things like that. So I'm mixing my permanent rose with a little bit of my brown, because there is a little bit more sort of depth going on in here. Okay, that's it. I'm going to call it a day and kind of let that dry. And yeah, so this one is also finished. So really it's kind of made up of lots of kind of very sort of gestural marks, especially sort of towards the end here, where I'm just kind of putting, really sort of just using the brush to sort of make some kind of quite sort of strong marks, and just leaving it and allowing it to kind of develop. So just kind of putting the brush down and allowing it to kind of do whatever it's going to do. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing what you get up to.